Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to this week's episode of the Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast. We've taken a few weeks off. It's been a busy time here at Sofamanager Towers with our real jobs. Unsurprisingly, you might be shocked to hear that we're not full-time at this.
No.
Or more than likely not, yes. Anywho, there's been a lot that's happened over the last few weeks. We've appointed a new Scotland manager. For one which is very, very exciting. A lot of Scottish Cup games have gone on. So, of course, we'll be talking about none of that this week. I guess this week's topics, we're going to be talking about rugby and business.
Absolutely.
On the Scottish Football Show. No, of course, we will be touching on Scottish football a little bit. We've, as usual, got our news. We'll be talking about Celtic being punted out of the Europa League and how they did against Aberdeen. And also a bit of time for us to reflect on VAR, which we've not discussed recently, and how that's dealt with. And also the next Man City in Scottish football, or Gretna, either or, take your pick. So stay tuned to find out what's happening there. Anyway, joining me on this week's podcast is our favourite returnee, it's John Brown.
Hello.
Hello, John. You've seen plenty of football this week, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Of a high standard?
Well, debatable.
So you were, of course, at Falkirk versus Dumbarton and Nutmegland. What was it called?
Meggetland
Meggetland.
for
Ba-dum-dum-sh.
Thistle versus Wraith Rovers Ladies.
A women's game, so we might be hearing about that a little bit later on. And of course it is myself, Scotland's most ropey stadium announcer, who missed the queue for Amarillo whilst doing the Falkirk game recently. I might go into that at some point later. But anyway, let's get straight on with the show. So, moving on.
Swiftly.
Well, I think so. First things first, there is a new trainee that's joined up with St Mirren.
Just a young chap.
A young chap. He's looking for a future career in coaching. I thought, it's a bit early in his career to be looking at this sort of thing. But the Italian stallion, Massimo Donati, joining up with St Mirren for the rest of the season, I believe.
Well, short-term deal.
Aye, so he obviously couldn't find anything, went to the nearest club to his house,
Probably.
presumably ended up at St Mirren, and now he's employed there. So a bit of experience to kind of see them through at the end of the season.
A little bit, you can tell what Louis Morgan Celtic's like. What not to do, or what to do.
What it's like to play in the first team, and prepare him for that 4 years down the line, possibly.
If ever.
I know. Well, since his arrival, they've not been playing that well. Beaten by Livingston
4-1.
last week, 4-1. Yeah, Livingston will be on fire. We'll get to that later. And then only narrowly getting by Brecon 1-0.
Yep.
So his arrival's done good things.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's played, but
It's just the kind of influence in the dressing room if you're...
But then they had Darryl Duffy as the kind of veteran of the dressing room. That didn't really pan out, and he's now gone to Airdrie.
Yeah, he scored at the weekend, I'm sure.
Did he?
Yeah.
What's the thing with veterans scoring again?
I
Lee
don't
Miller
know.
leaves Falkirk, scores an absolute screamer of an overhead kick. So that's the thing. If you want your players to do well, let them go.
Absolutely.
If you look at the Batshuayi Aubameyang switch as well, of a similar ilk.
It's like one's done well, one hasn't. Hasn't it?
Yes. So he will kind of shore up their league campaign, which I think is almost a dead cert at this point in time.
Effectively, aye. They're looking quite comfortable for promotion.
Yes.
No one's really going to challenge.
Dundee United fluffing it also against Livingston.
They look as though they might drop out entirely from the playoffs.
Well, they still lie second, don't they? But
No, they're third. No, that's a lie. Actually, they're fourth.
Oh,
They're
almost
dropping.
that.
They're dropping every sentence.
They keep getting lower and lower.
I think they're 5 in front of Dunfermline and Queen of the South, and they're a point behind Morton, who are now third.
See,
Morton
Dunfermline,
are third.
even Dunfermline have been an absolute free fall, not winning, I think, since like the 5th of January or something like that.
I mean,
It's something horrendous.
they're only. Let me get this right. They're 10 in front of Falkirk and Inverness, who are both on 30.
Mm-hmm.
Dundee United are on 40. So within a 2 or 3 game swing, it's looking quite precarious for them to be bottom half of the league. Never mind playoffs. Glorious.
Calm down, they're not going to come and join our Falkirk Bairns anytime soon. One would assume, but we'll wait and see. It's not looking good for them. Also, another move that didn't quite happen. Looks like Alfredo Morelos' move to China is off. They've now pursued some sort of Frenchman. £11 million, the rumour price, which I'm going to assume is completely off the mark, because if they were offered £11 million, they would have been idiots not to sell him.
I think it might have been in yuan. It wasn't in
so.
pounds.
Well, yeah, that would make more sense. But as we know, Scottish strikers, their value can drop by the second. Musa Dembele.
Yep.
He's barely worth, 2-3 million now, maybe?
Well, it was his 10th of the season for his goal against Aberdeen, which is a shocking return for a supposedly a top striker.
Well, it's 20-30 million. They were on Christmas Day or something. Brighton came in was just under 20. No, that's not enough.
It was about £3 million a goal.
That was daft. So no, they keep holding umbrellas. I would have chucked them.
Yeah, probably.
But a similar calibre of player has been training with Aberdeen.
Oof.
The highly exciting scored against Barcelona. Musa Dembele, can you say that? Can he say that?
Scored against PSG. I don't know about Barcelona.
I'm sure they did. Did they not get beat? Was it like 7 or 8-1?
They know 7-0.
Was it maybe 7-0?
And then they go beat 7-1
Did he get
in
that?
Paris.
Did he get that?
And he got the Paris goal.
Oh no, I'm talking about Barcelona. Because the man I'm talking about, of course, did score against Barcelona. And that is the legendary Tony Watt.
Whoosh.
Plonker.
Electric.
God. Well, he's, to be fair to him, he's been one of these guys that's kind of floated about Europe. I think we had a spell in Switzerland.
I was in Denmark as well.
I think so.
That rings a bell.
He's fair dodged about, and then he went somewhere.
Well, he was at Hearts for a while.
Somewhere Nigel Adkins was the manager, and it was abroad. I was like, that's a funny one.
Yeah.
But he was on that Open Goal show recently where they kind of interview different players, which is actually really good. There's been people on it like Alan Stubbs, who I don't like, came across really, really well. I had some interesting stories to tell, and I now do like him. Tony Watt didn't come across very well, so I now don't like him, and don't want him to sign for Aberdeen.
Not what you need though. I think
You got enough strikers
a
who
lot
are
of
on
dud
bans
strikers,
of some
don't we?
kind.
It's not just you don't need strikers, you don't need dud strikers.
No. But apparently he just sits in and plays PlayStation all the time was his chat. And I was like, that is excellent, Tony.
Wow. Yeah. Right.
Thanks for that.
But 10th prestige was he?
And well, I don't know. They're probably not even that good. He couldn't fire when he was a player, so he's not going to be good at the console. But anyway, speaking of his former club Celtic, they were punted out magnanimously out of Europe this week to... You know what, actually? I tell you when I knew that was going to happen. BBC Scotland are like, we've got Chris McLaughlin in St Petersburg. They cut to him in about 3 feet of snow in -50, and I thought, they've had it.
Right, this is
absolutely had it.
An entirely different world for them.
Yes.
Curious one though, do you think that we both know that the tie was a sort of disaster, right?
Yes.
They really should have done a lot better.
Especially on the home leg.
Yeah. But when you look at their campaign as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
do you consider it a success or a failure?
It's an
See what I mean?
It is an improvement because they were dumped out of the Champions League last season in 4th.
Yep.
Now, this was a slightly easier group. And I think they were very lucky in the time that they played Anderlecht, who were in utter turmoil.
Aye, when they beat them away from home.
And then they came back and beat them at Celtic Park.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an improvement. However, I don't like the excuse that, Zenit are a much bigger club, much better funded, which they are. Those gas giants sponsor the entire competition, don't they?
Aye, Gazprom.
Aye.
They're
However,
state-owned as well.
you look at the team, mainly Russian guys. There are a few Argentinians in there.
Young Argentinians as well. They're not
No.
exactly established.
I think Padres is the one they're talking about. But yeah, he's not.
He didn't look great. He looked quite petulant.
Exactly. So, Ivanovic is a very experienced player. But you look at the Celtic team, mainly Scottish guys with a few foreign players. What's the difference? Both playing in front of big stadiums, like...
I know the atmosphere should never have got to them. I don't think it did. I think the style of play, it was very lethargic, especially away from home. It was
lethargic's the word I would use.
one too many passes. It just never sat for them properly. A bad night maybe, but when you look at the home leg, they should have won that comfortably 2 or 3-0 if they could find the net. And as we've said, Dembele's a wee bit off the boil. An issue because they don't have anyone really to fall back on. I don't think is it Ibue? No,
Kouassi.
No, the odds one, Edward.
Oh yes,
the other, the PSG guy. I don't think they trust him quite as much. And without Griffiths, that's it. There's no one really.
Literally.
It's unfortunate. But
then they're playing the strategy of having one man up top, which means that their depth of strikers at the moment is basically nothing because they're always assuming they're just going to play with one man. Not a good squad strategy for I think a team the size of that. But then you look at their defensive woes at the moment. We all knew
Oh,
this was
shocking.
going to be tough for the likes of, was it Ayer? Was it Scott Hendry playing in that game as well?
No,
or-
it was Ayer and Simonovic, Lustig right back, and Tierney left back.
Simonovic is like...
Oh, horrendous. Oh my god.
yeah.
He's one of the worst centre-backs I've ever seen.
I know. And De Vries didn't cover himself in glory either.
The really frustrating bit about that game, the way was all 3 goals were really quite preventable.
Yes.
First goal should have been cleared. The second goal was just a complete howler from the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was disaster.
And I'm fairly confident it was Lustig who lost his man for the third.
Right.
You can look at it and you go, Christ, a different night and on a better performance, they might have won it.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the result. Never happened. I think they would have got horsed no matter who they got in the last 16, considering the quality that's now there. It would have been nice to see them at least get beyond the last 32 in a very winnable tie.
Well, I think, this was an even fixture between two teams on a similar level. And you look through the rest of the Europa League, it is teams, challenging at the top end of other leagues, from Spain, whatever.
Yep.
And then a lot of the Eastern European, contingent.
Who always take it serious.
Exactly. But I would like to see us competing with the likes of those teams, I think, because, their budgets are comparable, if not much less, than what Celtic operate with. And I know that was a relatively challenging tie compared to who they could have got.
Yep.
But, yeah, very winnable fixture. I think it'll be glossed under the carpet with them beating Aberdeen relatively convincingly.
Well, normal service has resumed.
Yes.
In the domestic sense.
But you do have to kick yourself. I think the home leg is where
that was
they
the
really have to
kicker.
kick
You
themselves.
knew once it was only 1-0. And even the 1-0 win set up a different kind of mindset going into the away leg.
You look at Zenit absolutely cruised that.
Aye.
And you spoke of lethargic. I was even looking at people like Kieran Tierney who just weren't
They couldn't get it
on
going. I thought they lacked a lot of width. Well, obviously, I'm a tactical genius.
Yes.
They lacked width. The midfield was very deep, and they never really had an out ball up front.
It was a funny midfield, the likes of, who was it, Rogic. They actually played Kouassi. But they didn't play, someone like Masonda, who actually set up the first goal on the home leg.
The McGregor goal, yep.
You think, why are you not...
Well, there's a guy
playing-
who can really stretch a game. Same with Sinclair. Not a great form, but he operates.
Yeah.
They took off Forrest.
He moves.
Yeah, he can run. They took off Forrest when he was actually getting into a game, which I thought was a bad move. It's just an unfortunate set of circumstances, but the coefficient points. So
Coefficient, and it is an improvement.
yes,
It's a steady improvement, and just keep it going. And see, once you get through one of those ties, you can start going on a run.
oh, you can just enjoy it beyond there. There's no
Aye.
pressure beyond that.
And let's be honest, they've not been in form of late at
No.
all, which led to us all wondering, will Rangers catch them? Will Rangers catch them?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I think there's one or two slippages for Rangers to come up. I think
Look much stronger though.
they do. In fact, that Jimmy Murphy goal against Hearts today was absolutely outstanding.
I thought that was an absolute travesty that he dribbled round like 3 or 4 guys and was still able to finish it like marginally away from the 2 defenders. I don't know if it was like he had such confidence that he was just going to beat them, which he did. And then Russell Martin getting his first goal as well.
Yep.
Does Martin get the job if they...
They should. The performances since he's took over permanently has been nothing short of what you would expect.
I mean, I still don't like them, but they've made good signings, all positive.
He's made the correct signings for our league.
Aye.
And that is a big failing of Kushinya.
Yes.
Was he signed foreign players never really understood the Scottish League, don't know the style. Murchie's came in and he signed the correct players in positions that Rangers desperately needed them in, centre mid, up front, so they look a lot better.
But the key question is, will they get by Falkirk in the Scottish Cup?
Nah, well, I'm not going, so
I've also elected not to go. I hummed and hawed about it. But I have heard it's one of the kind of scarier...
I don't enjoy it. I've been twice. I've seen Falkirk get beat 7-3, 5-1, 5-0.
These could be similar scorelines to what turns up on the day.
The 7-3 game was good. I think we were leading. And in fact, even when they pulled it back to a draw, Falkirk, John Stewart was 1-on-1. He fluffed it and you just knew for then that was it.
That was
Game
gone.
was over, 7-3.
I mean, all I hear is like folk getting like piss thrown over at them for the terracing and...
The biggest problem with that is, see, Falkirk are getting 2,000 tickets.
Yes.
Now, the corner, if I remember right, holds about 1,000.
So it'll go below one of the tiers.
Aye. Do you really want to be underneath that top tier of the blooming road? No
Not
chance.
a million years, no. Which is
a shame, but
But it does raise the question, you know, you look at like that atmosphere out in Russia, you know, I could see flares in the back of the stand and stuff. Like, you are trying to intimidate away fans
Yeah.
to like, but where do you draw the line, you know?
I mean, it's
Probably pissing in a cup.
a little bit, it's a bit petulant.
Just a tad.
It's a hard one to really. That, terrible
Different
because
countries,
I
different
mean, I
standards.
kind of like the
ultras.
yeah. It's interesting to watch it, but you would never put your. It's just common sense. If that's going to exist, you don't
Yeah.
put your away fans need it.
Nope. So we enjoy watching it from afar.
Yes,
From the VIP section
I enjoy
of the
watching it
stadium.
on Facebook.
Yes.
That's always interesting. I wouldn't have wanted to be a policeman in Bilbao over the weekend,
No.
for example.
Who are they playing like?
Was on a Spartak, the fireworks and all that, the dance.
Oh, was that what that was?
Yeah.
I wonder if that was in St. Petersburg. That was nuts.
Yeah, that was proper.
But I couldn't work out whether it was real because you saw fireworks going across the street and folk were just standing there like.
I mean, it's a firework. It's not going to do very much.
Oh, it's gonna. I presume it burn you. But it's an interesting.
Yeah,
So we're not going.
bottom line.
But we will watch and say, "Hey, ultras culture from afar." Hashtag true football fans.
Ah.
Well, you know, speaking of officiating, there was a Hibernian Kilmarnock game
Oh yes.
at the weekend, which had a few talking points, to say the very least. We won't see Mr. Lennon on a touchline anytime soon, possibly for the rest of the season. Who knows?
Possibly.
Well, so Kilmarnock against Hibernian. Hibs like decimated them, 2 goals within the first 10 minutes. And then Kelly with an absolutely sensational comeback.
Very much.
As they've done Jordan Jones with an absolutely stonking goal.
Oh, Perla.
So they're, again, keeping up their incredible form and, you know, matching toe for toe a team that we now are looking at pushing Aberdeen for
For top
for
4.
third,
Aye,
aye.
yep.
and I think there's every chance of that. But, key point, a big focus of the game was was it Ryan Porteous?
For the handball.
Aye. Well, he scored as well.
Porteous, aye.
Aye. Okay, first and foremost, do you think it's a penalty?
No. No chance.
Yeah, but
His hand's in beside his body.
he still handballs it in the box.
You've got to take the consideration that his hand is where his chest is.
Mhm.
So if his hand wasn't where it was, it would just hit his chest.
Mhm.
So that's effectively like body contact. It's like LBW in cricket.
Yeah. Yeah, fair play. It was from very, very close range.
I can't believe I just used a cricket analogy. need a
Listeners,
shot.
if you don't know what an LBW is, what does the LBW stand for, John?
Low ball wicket.
Does it really?
I think so.
I've never known that. I've just known it as an LBW. Tune in later for some rugby chat. Whoa.
Well, yes.
Hopefully. But no, and Neil Lennon, then Kevin Clancy, was it?
It was a shocker in a ref anyway. I completely agree with Lennon in his points here.
Right, okay.
I really do.
You really singled him out though, like especially in his
Quite
post-match
right, though.
comments.
Quite right.
Do you agree that refs get sent off as well?
If you have a terrible day in your office and you do something horrendously bad, you're going to get singled out for it.
Aye.
But what's the difference?
It's an incredibly difficult job. You know,
But they make it very difficult for
they
themselves.
do, and I think particularly in Scotland, the level of officiating is you know,
Shocking.
ropey at the best of times. And there will be no retribution for the referee, so I can see
Well, he'll get relegated to do a championship game.
which nobody will know or talk about.
And nobody will care.
Nobody
And he
will
won't care. He's still getting paid the same amount of money.
Exactly. Well, it makes no difference whether you're at Kilmarnock or, you know,
Dumbarton,
Gabby Lower or
aye.
anything. So, I mean, you do have to control yourself. You can't just go blatantly shouting in his face. And we saw, you know, the Arbroath manager,
Dick Campbell.
Dick Campbell, got a horrendous, you know, touchline ban, which I thought was an absolute travesty because it was a horrific decision. And good on him for stomping on that
Oh, yeah.
pitch and telling the referee what he thought.
I mean, Lennon done exactly the same. It's the same principle. He'll probably get the same ban. It's the
Probably.
same circumstances. But yeah, I can understand entirely sort of Neil Lennon's position here. It was a terrible decision, and it cost him.
3 points.
It could have cost him 3 points. I think Kilmarnock were so far on top,
Mm-hmm.
they probably would have got a second anyway.
Mhm. Well, they very nearly didn't get the penalty. You know, Boyd had to come in for the rebound. So.
Yep.
But he makes interesting points, you know. Does there need to be more transparency in our refereeing? I don't know why you'd want to be a referee, to be honest.
No, I don't understand it either. I mean, I'll maybe talk about it later. I was at the Boroughmuir Ladies game
Mhm.
today, and it was just a referee. There was no lineswoman, which was a bit bizarre. So they effectively call your own offsides.
Yeah,
really weird.
Well, they used to just get the coaches to do it. Back in like school days and stuff like that. And again, you can question the honesty about that. Every time and now and then, the referee would just look at them if there was a blatant offside, and they would raise their flag. And I was like, well, this is a pointless endeavour, apart from giving a coach a flag. It was essentially all that happened there.
Keeps them happy.
But one thing they have been using to help them recently has been, Microsoft Paint. I mean, virtual assistant referee.
A guy with a shaky hand.
The funny thing is, there's been some quite good memes about this. I saw like the Football Manager one the other day, and it's like, using VAR to assess my touch decision. It's a straight line, going round the blatantly offside player and then back down. What game was that in again? It was
for the actual terrible decision. It was Man United and Huddersfield.
But I don't know.
Was it Huddersfield?
But they were
FA Cup.
I think that sounds about right. But what they were saying is they didn't actually use that for the VAR decision. But where did that graphic come from? Because again, the lines weren't straight, they weren't parallel, they weren't like adjusted to 3D. It was just
somebody had just got like a surface and just used the pen.
Oh, you product placement with your fancy computer in front of you.
Absolutely.
I know. And again, it's not been very helpful in any way, shape, or form. Slowing the pace of games down massively.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'll be quite blunt about that. The implementation of it is really quite bad.
Horrendous.
The ambiguity, you don't know what's going on. I mean, I was at the Rome derby. It was used. It was a penalty.
Oh, really?
A penalty was given for Lazio in that game through VAR, and no one had any idea what was going on. And that's a stadium with two ginormous screens at either end.
Yeah,
and it didn't show anything. It didn't even notify that VAR was
going
active. The ref stood in the centre circle and just didn't move.
See, the thing for me is, if you're going to use it, and I know that the training and things for it at the moment will be quite short because it is a new thing in one competition, maybe for some games. Again, they need to clear that up a bit.
They used it for the League Cup final today.
Yes, I know.
But I don't think they ever use it in previous rounds.
I don't believe they did. I thought it was an FA Cup thing only.
So did I.
So that was a new thing, but I think you take a leaf out of other sports. I know the complaints with the pace is because it's off-site. The NBA, for example, do theirs off-site. It's a much quicker process. And you look at, again, I like, we'll talk about this in other sports as well, there's the clarity of communication. So if you watch an NFL game, the ref is mic'd up to the
sound system,
sound system. So he will then go, play such and such under review, such and such a player has done X, Y, Z. Cool. We all know what's going on. We can boo, we can cheer, whatever. And this is something, and we will follow on from this as well, I like about the rugby referees, in that I know they're just mic'd up for the telly, but they're incredibly clear.
Well, they're not just mic'd up for the telly, you can buy earpieces. Well, in the stadium, and you can listen.
Can you?
Yeah, you see them with these things.
Oh, right, I did not know that. That would be very handy.
They're quite expensive, but
you would look like a nerd.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. I remember when I was at Le Mans 24 Hours, you could get like radios in headphones, and you just look like a mobile dafty.
You just kind of wander around the wee France.
Yeah. You could not just broadcast that over FM or something. But aye, that's probably what they do. I did not know that. But again, very clear, very concise, and they will say, for rugby, it's video ref or.
It's a video ref, and they'll action for it.
But they'll say
the TV screen.
They'll
signal
often say why they're looking for it.
Aye.
Whereas this is just.
This just stops to have a look at the action of the play, and in my opinion, they actively go looking for something that's happened.
Yeah.
So it could be an accidental shirt pull.
I think that happened though. Was there not a corner at some game that they disallowed because VAR went back and someone had pulled someone's shirt?
Yeah, you're thinking that wasn't
Falkirk St Johnson
3 times.
Hashtag never forget.
Aye.
Hashtag me too.
I'll never forget. It's the only game I've ever seen beyond that's ever had someone get pulled up for that. Literally. It's like, it's just really frustrating, And I would love to see them. The referee has to, in my opinion, say that he stops play, he wants to review. He has to specifically say what he wants to review. And it doesn't matter if, say, someone else has pulled his shot.
Yeah.
If he's actually looking, if someone's put a studs up challenge. And,
aye.
That's the thing he's looking at, and that'll be dealt with.
Yes.
If it's a short pool, that's a different issue.
But at the League Cup final on Sunday, I believe the chat was, if the referee has made a horrific decision that is like just so far wrong, like not giving a foul, from VAR would then step in.
Mm.
Again, you know, how do you?
Well, it's just one guy's opinion over another. Like,
I think it needs to be smoother, and I think it would get smoother with time. However, often the difficult decisions are ambiguous for a reason, in that you can watch them 2 or 3 times.
and you could still make up your mind. Was it momentum that took him down? Was it the challenge? Was he off balance?
Is he Spanish and just dived?
Exactly. Is it Scott Brown and there's just malicious intent?
Well, Scott Brown, on evidence of the weekend's game, is now actively looking for malicious challenges.
I loved his reaction though.
What is he?
That was brilliant.
He just gets up, goes to Celtic fan like some child. He's just
Muscles.
like, I am good. Well, brilliant debut for another Aberdeen striker there. But you know, if you're going to go in a knee-high challenge on someone, it might as well be Scott Brown.
Well, if VAR had watched that, it would have been a straight red, not a second yellow.
No, it would have been a booking. It wasn't even a second yellow, it was just a straight
Was
red.
it a straight red? I thought it was a second
No,
yellow.
they would have booked him.
Oh, it was a Lustig one, it was a second yellow.
Oh, Lustig guy, he's another walking disaster as well at the moment. He'll be going to an international tournament come the summer.
Oh dear.
Is it the summer?
Yeah, Russia.
Oh, brilliant. Well, of course, Zenit playing in one of those snazzy new stadiums.
Aye, I don't know if I liked it or not. Well, roof.
Well, they need the roof.
Air conditioned.
But they maybe don't need the air conditioning, they maybe need heating.
Aye. Well, it was a minus 15 outside and 15 inside.
That's another thing about the Celtic game, is they're not actually playing at the moment, are they?
No, they're in winter shutdown. They don't start for another week or two.
They've not played for 3 months.
Well, I've played lots of friendlies, but...
Well, I know, but that's nothing compared to a competitive game. So that's another area for lack of excuse.
Anyway, we're going back to old ground.
Aye. Wait, Sofamanager are always on track. Anyway, Scottish Football Podcast, the Rugby.
Aye.
At the weekend.
Good win.
An excellent one. Did you watch the game?
I watched the last 20 minutes.
I think everyone did.
Yeah.
But
you could not.
I know. The frustrating thing is, though, everyone is all over social media, like Scotland. They're sharing pictures left, right, and centre. Now, I reflect also at the weekend, Hamilton Academical, a last-minute winner. Is it anywhere on social media?
Probably not.
Nowhere to be seen. If you said to someone, I'm a Hamilton Accies fan,
they'd laugh you out of the room.
well, rightfully so.
Or they go, who do you really support?
Well, unless
Derek
you're one of those
Ferguson.
like 13-year-old casuals that's like, I think they've got the most violent like junior female casuals group in the country.
No, that weird thing was on BBC.
Aye.
Yeah.
The schemers. Anyway, you know, why is it? And do you know what? Actually, we have to credit Scotland for a fantastic performance.
Absolutely. Anything we beat England in has to be noted.
Brilliant. It was a sensational performance, though. Like, I've never seen us defend so well.
I know. Yeah. Alex
Really?
McLeish, take note now.
Well, do you know what though?
Oh, I'll let you go, but I'm going to come back on something else.
What, is it relevant to what I'm?
It's about national team and national team.
Okay, well, what I'm going to suggest is, are they better athletes than our national footballers?
Okay, that leads on to what I was going to say.
Okay.
This completely destroys Gordon Strachan's genetic argument.
Right, okay.
You know, you look at that rugby team and you go, wow, 6'4", built like tanks, really fit, really athletic.
But we were 40 kilograms short in the scrum, which is quite a lot of mass.
We're about 250 kilos short when we play a game of football.
That's true, that is very true.
How can rugby produce that kind of physique and we produce someone that is like a skelf?
Aye.
Yeah.
Even like Andy Robertson.
Yeah.
He was a skinny lad. Tierney's not a big lad either.
Tierney's a wee bit kind of bulky, but he's a short guy. He's
Aye.
not like 6'4".
Aye.
Oliver Buxby, the only one I can think of that's the size.
Well, could you imagine like a Richie Gray at the heart of our defence? Like, you know.
Nah, we get through that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Laidlaw taking all the free kicks.
We should organise that though, like a 15-on-15 football match and a 15-on-15 rugby match.
Just like Gaelic rules football.
Aye. The football team would get absolutely pumped.
Oh, broken, I think.
But then it's funny because, you know, rugby is a totally different sport in that at the top end there are, 10 teams at best?
National teams or club teams?
Well, national teams. This is another thing that bugs me. They're like, oh, I love the rugby, I'm always going to rugby. No.
What team do you support?
Exactly.
And
I must say, I was quite impressed in that one of my friends has been going on all the Six Nations game recently because they have a season ticket. And I was like, oh, very good. Do you get to see all the Six Nations games? No, you don't. You get to see Six Nations game plus the autumn tests plus the Glasgow Edinburgh matches.
what? That's not bad.
Well, I thought, And clearly nobody takes them up on the Glasgow-Edinburgh match idea, because there's what,
only
7,000 people like that at best?
I mean, there's only 2 of them as well, but one gets played on Boxing Day, I think.
There's a name for that trophy. The
1872.
There you go.
76.
1888.
We're just naming.
When Celtic were formed, I'm joking.
2012.
Aye, that one. But I thought, what a brilliant idea to try and get more people along. And nobody takes them up on it, and
Bit of a shame. But that's the thing with like rugby. I think it's a national sport. I think the club game is growing.
Yes.
That Pro 14, and I think the English leagues are really good.
Well, we're trying to get a team in the English leagues to get a share of their money. And this is what I find interesting about it, because a lot of the Welsh rugby players, for example, play for Welsh club teams, but are on a split contract between the club and the national team.
Right.
So it is, as you say, a very much integral to kind of both.
Aye, I think they do it right. They develop the players right,
and
a lot of them. I mean, most of that Scotland team play for either Glasgow or Edinburgh.
Glasgow or Edinburgh, yeah.
And the really, really good guys play in France.
Where all the money is. But then even England, I think, only selected from England for a long time.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Although there's a mysterious amount of like Olachunjis and Filipino kind of
like
Fijian sounding Englishmen.
The great granny rule, like.
Well, you looked at it was the most tackles stat at the weekend, and it was like what's his name, Ulibola.
I have no idea.
I think he's the guy that threw like a midget across a bar in Australia or something like that.
As you do.
And his pal, who were blatantly not English. And our top 2 tacklers for Scotland was like Richie Gray and Hamish Mackenzie.
Nice.
And I was like, could it be any more Scottish? You could feel the Braveheart, inspired within you at that point. Like we're not playing with any of these nonsense players.
Cheating.
So no, congratulations to Scotland. An excellent game to watch. But again, shared massively around social media because everyone loves the rugby.
All of a sudden.
But then there's such a stigma with being a football fan.
I know, it just drives you nuts.
Like,
the bit that took the biscuit about that rugby game was the boy was caught on camera with a half Scotland, half. Oh dear God!
I mean,
scarves are bad enough. I've seen 1 or 2 football tops are half and half. You didn't paint your face a half England, half Scotland flag. Jesus,
but he's celebrating the day. Good thing he didn't have a Northern Ireland. He might as well just painted a Union Jack on his face. But no, I do not get the argument that rugby is so much better than football. Like,
it's not. It'd be better if they had segregation.
No, I like that.
Nah, what?
I like that.
How quality would it have been though if there'd been a wee contingent England fans at Murrayfield and Scotland had won? The abuse that they would have got.
I think it's a much more social thing, and the way football culture is now,
you could get away with having non-segregation these days. There's not enough people.
Oh yeah, well, I know, but not at like a Rangers Celtic game.
No, I'm talking like
if you had Partick Thistle St Johnstone.
Who cares?
Nobody cares.
Why is there police there? You know.
To a certain extent, yes. What was my rambling point?
I can't remember. Something about segregation.
No, I like this. So I must admit, going to a rugby game is a much more friendly and pleasant atmosphere than a football game, but it is a much more middle class.
Yes, that's why it's in Edinburgh.
Yes, although they have teams in Glasgow as well, and that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, rugby is just so much more exciting. It's like, no, you watch 5 international rugby games a year.
Mm-hmm.
You never go and see the club rugby, which is broadcast in Gaelic most of the time, I believe, if you're lucky.
Aye, we're in Alba.
In front of 80 people.
Yeah.
It's no much different to a 3rd division football game for that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, thinking about it, it must be completely unsustainable. I don't know how are they paid compared to footballers, actually.
Oh, they're a lot less, but I think a lot of them are kind of they're professional, but they'll have a job
like a lawyer or
they're
all intelligent.
I mean, they're all intelligent though. They come from Galashiels and Border Towns.
I was thinking that. I must admit, I thought
inside and
on the line of players being foreign and stuff. I thought Hugh Jones. I was like, this guy's Welsh. He's definitely Hugh Jones.
Aye.
No, born and bred like Edinburgh. I was like, oh well, that blows that argument out the water. But
father's a solicitor, mum's an accountant.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But for me, it is incredibly complicated as a sport. And
it's very technical. It's very stop-start.
Well, exactly. And like, it simulates war, I think, in a very good way, and I think we all like sports that simulate war.
Yeah.
I.e., the success of something like the NFL, which is a
Heavy
worse
challenges.
version of rugby, though, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's even more stop-start.
I know. I wonder if they could have ever gotten into rugby. Imagine how different things would be.
I'd love to see a rugby team playing an
Playing an
NFL
NFL team.
Yeah, how amazing.
I was just thinking that. It'd be such a...
It'd be amazing. They would probably absolutely destroy the NFL
But
team.
see if... Well, the big problem is passing forward. It would be like, weird.
Would you play it in rugby rules, or you could do like Aussie rules?
Right.
You watched Aussie football?
Well, what?
They just play in a big cricket field. And
Yeah.
Just put the two a rugby
Well, why
team
don't
and an NFL team in that.
Why don't we just combine American football, rugby, possibly rugby league, I've not decided, Aussie rules, and then like Irish football.
Right, this is just turning into that thing they've been playing down in England
Well,
with the ball and that's
Irish football. Mind, they do that tournament every year where shinty and hurling kind of fuse the two together, and the Irish team plays the Scottish team. And the Irish team always wins because hurling's a much bigger deal over there than shinty is over here.
Yeah, it's just Fort William that play that.
We play the final in Oban with, is it McBee's the sponsor usually or something like that?
Probably.
Meanwhile, in Ireland, there's...
Well, it's everybody plays it. It's
Well,
like it's counties. It's counties.
Yeah, no, but they'll have the final at Thingway Park, which is like a 90,000...
Oh, Croke Park.
Aye, Croke Park. Like a 90,000 seater stadium. Meanwhile, in Oban, like 8 people in front of a Gaelic man, It
was too cloudy to climb Ben Nevis, so I'm keeping the hurling.
Pretty much, but I just hate that football fans are so ostracised
I know.
for rugby.
Football is better. The celebration is much better when they score.
Yes, it doesn't happen as often. Ish.
Right, you compare the Griffiths free kick to put them 2-1 ahead. The celebration for that versus the winning try for Scotland in that rugby game. What would you rather be a part of?
The thing is, for a rugby try, you cheer over a longer period of time.
Aye, it's
Because
momentum.
you
And then you get
run.
there and you're too tired to really jump about.
Pretty much. Yes, whereas a football, it's a single point,
And it's just
Ovulation.
euphoria and limbs everywhere.
and they forget to hit the Amarillo button and it all starts again.
Ah, well, that's what we breaking. It didn't matter.
Nobody cared.
Nobody noticed.
Nobody. Everyone. People were like,
I didn't get on my seat. I just like, okay,
no. People were like, cool.
next.
pretty much. Kind of sorry for the next goal. I found the power button at that point. It was fine. But that's one thing though. Do you play celebration music anymore? Like, because a lot of the Premier League teams don't do it. Down south.
Newcastle don't do it.
See, I think on the telly it sounds classier if you don't play it.
It sounds classier and it sounds even better when you don't have a bloody commentator talking over it.
Yeah.
Well, it drives me nuts.
What when they announced the scorer? Or?
I can't remember what I was watching this morning. It was the Nakamura goal when Celtic won the league at Kilmarnock. I think it must have been really late on in the game.
All right.
Absolute scenes in both ends.
Uh-huh.
And all you hear is his name Davy Crocker
Uh-huh.
prattling over the goal with all the celebrations.
Oh,
This is the best thing you'll ever see. Fuck off. I just want to listen to how I've seen it. You don't need to describe it to me.
Well, that's the thing. I was watching the Celtic highlights because I hadn't watched the full game for either Europa League ties, and they're up on YouTube. And it's that new boy.
Rory. Oh, what is it? It's not Rory Deacon. Rory.
This is the Dundee player. It is Rory Stewart.
Maybe Rory Stewart.
Well, him. But he went absolutely nuts for the Celtic goal after like 60 minutes. And I'm going, what?
Aye.
Out of context, it just looks totally daft. But then at the same time, it was pointed to my attention that the Man City announcer, when Sergio Aguero scores recently, he goes, Sergio Aguero, which is just a legendary bit of commentary that kind of goes down. But when I tell my kids at school that I'm a stadium announcer, they expect me to do the Spanish thing where I'm like, call, and I'm like, no, no.
Adam. Silence.
Number 18. Well, it's happened before, especially in Dev League games. Like none, absolutely nothing. But I was thinking that actually, because see when I read out the teams at the Brecon game, absolutely nothing.
No, it was absolutely but we're going to go into that as well. Or the 2,000 alleged kids.
Yeah,
at the Falkirk
that's
game.
a good lead-in, eh? I shouldn't say good lead-in. It ruins the mystery of our
Well.
fluid podcast. Fluid is a block of ice.
Aye, well. Allegedly, Falkirk handed out 2,000 tickets to kids to come to the game. Half of them took up.
It was a fairly full stand.
It was a lot more than I thought.
Aye.
And along with that, there was a £10, bring a friend for a season ticket holder.
Bring a pal. Of course, Falkirk people have no pal.
Well,
The few people I did meet brought Rangers fans, which I thought was hugely ironic.
Yep.
But kind of unsurprising. So no, Falkirk at the weekend in a bid to try and kickstart a bit of interest, invited along all the community members, for free, things like that. 6,000 people in attendance, which I think was maybe the fourth best attended game at the weekend in Scotland. I would need to check the Kilmarnock house figures.
It must have been close to 6,000.
Just over 6,000 people.
Yep.
And I know my first game at Falkirk was after we played a Boys Brigade tournament at Brockville, got free tickets and got in to see them against Ross County. So it is a way to...
I mean, first time I went to Falkirk was a free ticket as well for the school.
It's a great way to kickstart interest if the 11 players on the park live up to expectation. Anyway...
that was a real bugbear.
Well, that's the thing, it's great to see the clubs being proactive in this way and try to get the fans engaged. And we did have a bit of a standoff, speaking of ultras earlier, between the South Stand ultras with their dry, beer-laden... It's not even like fresh beer, it's like beer they've had like
was there a bottle
years ago, and you just get this really dry drone of a chant versus the young, enthusiastic... high-pitched tones of annoying children trying to join in, which I think is great. I think it's absolutely great. Who do you think provided the better atmosphere, John, the North or the South Stand?
Neither. It was pretty grim.
Oh, I thought the kids were...
They did. I think if I'd scored, it would have sort of brightened the mood all round.
I can't believe that.
Hit the post, each post and the crossbar twice in the first half.
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Left, right post, crossbar, and a ricochet to come back off the line. So I guess we'll speak about the game a little bit. It was dreadful.
It was awful.
It was absolutely... And the times that... And I must say, the times they did hit the post and the bar, they were fairly speculative efforts from relatively long range. Two of them certainly were.
Well, the Nelson one, the keeper came off his line, if I remember right.
Aye, he was trying to chip him.
He tried to chip off about 35, 40 yards.
Aye. Sibbald was just a bit closer in, but not too much.
Aye, he had the shot at cannon off the bar, the post as well, early on.
Aye.
I mean, all it took...
Hamilton was quite far out too, from what I remember. He's honking.
Looks slow to place. Falcon went to a back four and it just didn't look right at all.
That was a disaster.
They didn't look comfortable.
See, not having like Robson, Tommy Robson, one of the youngsters who's been really good for them.
Aye, playing as a wing back.
Playing as a wing back is really good because he has that freedom to go forward a bit more. Didn't have that opportunity in a flat back four, and the midfield were showing up royally.
They were so out of place, they were so slow. Joe McKee is an absolute disaster of a football player.
Yeah, his crossing was woeful.
He never had a single cross. He looked very lethargic on the ball.
He took all the corners and they were short.
Yeah, and then Sims whips him one near the end and he nearly score. Come on. At what point do you say to your teammate, you are absolutely garbage, I'm taking it?
Did he come off?
No, he played the full 90. We only made one sub. We brought on Loy for Taiwo.
Who was a ghost.
Aye.
Everyone was screaming for Louis Longridge to come off.
Aye, because he was having a bad game.
He was having an absolute shocker. The biggest problem for me is there was zero transition between the defence and the attack.
It was all
no midfield.
All very narrow.
All back
it was
to
all
front.
Try and beat your man 3 times and then maybe try and pass it. You're looking for a guy who can come down into either side. Just wasn't there.
There was no movement. A lot of the time. Even the keeper was standing at one point just looking.
He was like, where do I go? Just fucking hit it. You got 2 big guys up front. They should be able to win that.
Well, Nelson was winning it, but this is the first game Nelson's been back in a while.
Aye, his first start in about 2 or 3 games.
And him and Ukubiak up top together? No.
Not with Longbridge inside them. It's too crowded. They all try and do exactly the same thing.
Ukubiak, who I thought was absolutely, or has been brilliant for Falkirk, and I fully tipped for a move to a big Premier League side. He was just a bit short-minded, I think, in his play. A lot of it was, as you say, kind of very small touches, and often one too many, which got him caught out in what was a quite robust Dumbarton defence.
They did the right thing, Dumbarton.
Aye.
And they got the point that I presume they were after.
They could have walked away with 3.
Yeah,
they had, and for my opinion, the 2 best chances of the game. I think, was it Sterling with the first one? Someone else.
Sterling had a good chance. And Mark Stewart had a really good chance. I don't think he realised he was actually onside.
No.
Nearly in.
Didn't really see the point of him as a striker. I don't think Mark Stewart really has the legs
Not anymore. No.
And then bringing on Christian Nadi, who again doesn't really have the legs, was
Retirement is beckoning.
curious. But I've always been a big fan of the likes of Craig Barr and stuff. I think that's a good defence.
Yeah, no, they did the right thing. I think they'll be fine in the playoffs, to be honest.
Don't know. Wraith and Ayr are similar.
I don't know. I think
In the Challenge Cup final, we should say as well.
aye, for first cup final in 122 years.
Whew, hallelujah, we managed to punt out those Welsh and Irish lads. That could have been awkward.
Jordan could be getting booked for that. You know.
Well, we would have had to just disband the competition, right? Say, right, Wales, Ireland, play amongst yourselves. We'll sit back.
Scottish Challenge Cup no more.
They got far though, didn't they? Alarmingly far. These.
Oh, I know. In fact, was it Crusaders that were playing Inverness?
I think so. And Dumbarton went to TNS.
Down to TNS, which was a really good win. You look
Apparently, TNS were fairly honking.
Yeah, they were pretty bad against Queen of the South. I remember watching that.
Yeah.
I think Inverness were 3-0 up against Crusaders and almost lost it in the last 10 minutes. Pulled it back to 3-2.
Came back to 3-2, aye.
That would have been funny as anything.
It's interesting though, because it's two teams at the bottom of the championship. This is all they really have to play for.
Pretty much.
So it could be an interesting tie. We don't know where it will be played.
Oh, it's getting played at McDermott.
That's a good idea.
And Barton.
Perth is a relatively neutral.
It's about halfway.
It's about halfway. I think it's maybe slightly closer to Dumbarton, but it's a bit of a nightmare to get to from Dumbarton as well, if you think about it. But I was maybe going to go to that. It's maybe a bit far away.
I'll see what the dates are. I think
probably bad. It's usually a midweek fixture, isn't it? So.
No, it's not the weekend. It's normally quite close to Easter.
They're not usually at night.
No,
I think
we went to the Falkirk Hamilton game at Livingston. It was a Sunday.
Oh, you did that, didn't you?
You were there. You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, I went with Darren. Darren was there.
Oh, well, I was there.
Our absent co-host.
Thanks for remembering me, pal.
You must have been.
That's one thing. If I don't get to that, I would like to get to because the League One playoff finals played at a neutral venue, isn't it? It's not over 2 legs.
It's over 2 legs as well.
I'd like to go.
It depends on who that means. We could be going to the Stirling Albion games.
That would be good.
Like, they could get into the playoffs.
Oh, we'll go along to that. They're playing.
They're flying. They've was it 5 wins in 5?
I know. They needed that though because they had an utterly shocking spell. I was looking up their team today and I was like the top scorer, at the moment. I was like, youngster, why isn't he not picked up by MS? He's actually 29.
Oh, Dan Smith.
Aye. Had a spell with Motherwell and stuff like that, and it's kind of slowly. And it's interesting to read up the other one. Like Peter McDonald was like 37, had a really long spell with St Johnstone, and it's funny to see these guys who have had long spells with Premiership teams, but just want to keep playing football.
Yeah.
Even Darren Barr, a kind of veteran man that's wanting to keep going. Andy Little as well. You could almost say. I found out he fractured his skull or something in training. I was like, so that's why he's been ages to come back. So, very interesting. But to the business of football now that you've brought up. Before I go into that, Stirling Albion are playing Edinburgh City on Tuesday night, which I will be announcing. So any mistakes, do forward them to myself. But I will be interested because it's half the old Falkirk team. So when I'm announcing, in defence number 4, Liam Hendo, no one will understand. Absolutely no one. So I'm excited to see that. But they're on the cusp of a very lucrative Arab, not a Dundee United takeover. It should be, but they are on the cusp of a taking over some consortium because it's a fan-run club, which I didn't actually know before.
Stirling Albion was one of the first.
Yeah. So it's interesting that they're kind of transitioning back to that. But it got me thinking again, and we've spoken about this before, about fan involvement at different levels, about, rants we've had at board meetings and, the German 50+1 rule. And someone came out with something interesting this week, in the past few weeks, is that Edu Sport in the Lowland League.
This kind of
wanting to kickstart their promotion campaign.
Franchise, new club, disaster.
Now, it's interesting because I'm sure we had a discussion about, was it a Man City fan started supporting Northampton?
Aye.
Because he was tired of the...
He seen Man City win the league and thought, nope, I'm done, I'm going to go support Northampton. Frankly, that guy should have been tested for mental stability.
I think so. But you look at the likes of, FC United of Manchester, or even Salford City to a certain extent,
Aye, they were they're actually quite good examples, especially that FC United
Aye.
team, because that was a protest club.
The protest club, yeah.
And Salford City, by the sounds of things, is going to be what Stirling Albion is like, in that it's ex-players pumping money into the club.
Aye, I believe so. However, Salford City, FC United and Manchester, recognisable brands. You can put some passion behind that. EduSport?
Nah, and the way I've only read a little bit about it, and I heard the guy talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a monthly subscription into a club that doesn't have. It's not necessarily going to have a home base as such.
No.
It was like making a gathering of it.
Uh-huh.
So they're just going to kind of bounce about playing their home games.
See.
And it's all going to be streamed as well, so you don't actually have to go to the game.
Oh. Well, then.
You pay a subscription. So you pay £20 a month to watch EduSport.
See, my thing is, this year I've picked up much more involvement in a football club as a stadium announcer. Am I that bothered about going to board meetings or paying a subscription on a monthly basis? Like,
aye, I mean, I pay my season ticket money and I buy a football shirt or a jumper or something every now and again if it picks my fancy. Why would I set up a direct debit for a club that I know has been run shockingly bad? Why would I do it? That's a Falkirk context. That's not for EduSport.
No, I know.
But, I wouldn't do that because EduSport is my team. Why would I?
No, I think that's the thing about football, is it's such a passion
You
business.
have your club and it'll never change.
What is, John? It's emotional investment.
Aye.
That's what it is.
Behavioural finance.
John Way's tin hat was talking about emotional investment at the Falkirk board. But do you think that there's actually any room for new football teams in this day and age, or we're just stuck?
No, there's too many. There's already too many.
The only example I can think of would be Red Bull Leipzig is the only one that's come up in recent times.
Only one that's came up and seems to have been accepted.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the the home fans, aye. That's built up a decent following.
Red Bull Salzburg collapsed.
Has it?
And did they not try one in Spain? Maybe.
It's interesting to see what Man City are doing, in that they're building up this hideously large network of clubs in
America. They're buying second division.
England, South America, Japan, Australia,
New York City
and America. I think there's a few iffy things in like Chile and stuff like that.
They bought a Uruguayan second division team, which allows them to effectively launder clubs' players through South America into this club and then out to Man City for a cut price.
But see, also if you look at the likes of Man City, that's effectively a totally different
it's
organisation.
It's a franchise club. Most Premier League teams are.
Yeah.
I mean, Man United was the original. Everybody knew about them. Everybody wanted to be a part of that. You
look at how that international business has just grown exponentially over.
Huge. I mean, it is the sort of marketing side of Man United probably is worth more than the football club itself. Absolutely no doubt about that.
Oh no, I think their revenues, in that sense, far exceeds
the commercial stream's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I guess your only success stories for building up a football club is like FC United, Manchester, Salford City, which were existing teams before.
Aye, they were just kind of snowballed a little bit.
And that is a shame, because we spoke about the formation of Third Lanark as a battalion thing, and they were just looking for somewhere to play, and the excitement of being involved with that, and that
I'll never have again. Nah, I don't know what this EduSport is trying to achieve. I don't think it's necessarily. I was going to say it's not good for the game. It doesn't matter to the game because it's at such a low level, and I don't think it'll
the lowland level.
Well, it'll not really catch on. I'm interested to see what Stirling do about all this new money.
Well, the club looking to be taken over for in the region of £600,000 to £700,000. I think there's a lot of potential there, in that a decent stadium fits
2,500,
3,000 people, plus terracing at either end, which
it's pretty cool.
I'll accommodate 50,000 as terracing does. And Stirling, a relatively big place. We kind of spoke about before as to whether it's bigger or smaller than Falkirk. I think it is smaller than Falkirk because of Falkirk surrounding areas. But if you got that team up into the Championship again, which is where they've been in previous years, but I think they referred to the yo-yos in previous days because they were up and down so much. I think there is real. It's a much more scalable prospect than a Gretna, for example.
I think Gretna's location hindered them massively, as well as the stupid spending.
I cannot believe they played like a season at Fir Park.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to see them
But that was like Inverness playing games at Pittodrie at one point.
Their first game in the Premiership was against Falkirk. Beat them 4-0.
What?
Michael Higdon scored
Higdon,
2.
I remember that.
Pedro and Arfield, I think.
Time ago now.
Good players.
So no, it would be... Yeah, I don't think anyone's really tried the Kickstarter's never a good idea though. Like everything on Kickstarter like fails.
It's a struggle. 90% of all new businesses usually fail.
And I know that footballers and things try to do it sometimes, and like they'll say they give you back money if they succeed and stuff like that, and it's
Like
it's a sketchy thing to get involved with. But if you're going to invest in a team in Scotland, I can't think of anyone else that's got more potential than Stirling Albion at that level for that amount of money.
That amount of money. I mean, the only one you would want to put money into would be Ayr at the lower level. I bet it's got potential.
It does for a much bigger. But then there was
has.
only 1,500 of that game at the weekend. I was like,
Quite surprising, considering the
there
size
would
of
be
Ayr and the kind of history of the club. It's
junior football. But big concern as well in League Two about the Blue Brazil, who are
Goodbye.
Convening a meeting. In like 2 weeks. Very urgent. About what they're actually going to do, because if they go down, it's sounding like things actually might just wind up.
I wouldn't be surprised. Sad to an extent that it's kind of got to that stage. I mean, they were only in the Championship about
I
3
know.
or 4 seasons
But
ago.
a relatively big team as far as Scottish football is concerned.
Historically, it's
Well, yeah, I don't know anymore.
a reasonably sized club from kind of that neck of the woods. I don't think there's much necessarily around them.
Yeah, well, the problem is there's so many teams in Fife.
Yeah, it's an issue, a real issue.
So we'll be, and I think my discussion was they'll be fine in the playoffs, because the playoffs were an absolute sham last year.
Mhm.
In that, East Kilbride and Cove, I don't think either of them really wanted to go up. Now it's a totally different. Cove building their new
Cove
£5
look
million
like they want to
stadium.
be quite a serious player in League 1, League 2.
A wee Aberdeen feeder team at the moment. Don't they?
Well, you have the chance. In fact, it's well suited for that.
So I'll be interested to see how they do against East Kilbride. That's another game I'd quite like to see, just the
Quality at that level.
Yeah. The things to tick off my bucket list this year: go to a Queen's Park match just to see what the crack is with that, and then also get to some sort of playoff final or something, because we know Falkirk won't be there.
No, we'll have that kind
So-
of fortnight free, so
Yes,
it should be alright.
Anyway, very interesting chat this week.
Aye,
I
yep.
think it's time to round off with our usual Ack Attack, I think is the name of settling on. We try and beat the bookies each week with an unusual accumulator.
Yes.
It's not gone for us so far, but this week's going to be the week.
No, I think last week we were 3 out of 6 again,
Right.
which is the same as the first week.
We're getting better. Okay, we're not getting better, but we're going to try.
We're doing okay. We don't have Darren's games, but
We'll plough on that.
that'll be up on the website
Yes.
in the next couple of days.
Sofamanager.com.
Yeah. Why not? My first game is the Dundee United versus Queen of the South on the Tuesday night. Tough game, mate. I've actually
Big card on Tuesday night, isn't there?
a lot of games.
Yeah.
FA Cup replays. I think Tottenham are playing Rochdale.
Wembley.
It's one of the kind of weird ones.
Aye.
But we'll see how they go on. I think that'll probably Dundee United will end up drawing. I think I can't see either team winning it.
Dundee United playing pretty poorly. Queen of the South, not in a great run themselves.
Not a great run away from home.
They get beat by Morton at the weekend. Have I made
I
that
think
up?
they drew again. I think they drew with Dunfermline.
Just draws so. The Championship, we said the same thing last year. Like, Falkirk have had a miserable season and are 5 points away for the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah. Pretty grim.
Baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
Our second game is Napoli versus Roma next Saturday.
Ooh.
Big game.
Are Napoli still top of the table out there?
They are by a point. Although I haven't checked it today, so it might have changed.
Interesting.
Sure,
That,
those
did
games
they
today.
not get comprehensively pumped against Leipzig? I didn't see what the second leg score was, but I know they got.
They won the second leg, but they went out on away goals.
Right, okay.
Which is a bit. In a way, I was surprised, and I thought, nah, wait, they're on to win the league, so
Well,
kind of makes sense.
that was one of the bigger fixtures. Imagine if Celtic had got one of those two. That would have been
Celtic Napoli, I think they would have took it a lot more serious.
probably. So that'll be an exciting fixture.
I went for a Napoli win,
See,
7-10.
I see Roma have a really exciting youngster that they spent like a Turkish lad. They spent heaps of money on him from like Antalyaspor, like 13 million, and he's like 17, 18. It's insane. Can't remember his name.
No, I can't remember seeing them. So
So my game, sticking with Italy, is now it is Bari
yes,
versus Spezia, isn't
Yes.
it? Yes, I'm very familiar.
yep. There's 2 games this week with Barry. So.
Yes, I'm always on Bari watch. You see,
Like,
last time I picked Bari
Was Bari-
Venezia.
does Barry wear white or?
Well, Barry White. Oh dear, no, lives in South Wales. But I think I tipped Venezia to win that last time because they were in such poor form, and they've gone on to win 4 on the bounce.
Yep.
So I've been completely wrong, and because they've won 4 on the bounce with the mighty Liam Henderson scoring last time out against another Serie B team.
No, it wasn't.
Right, let me read it.
Was it Ternana?
I think that's who they're playing next time.
Is it?
But interestingly, they are one place behind Palermo, which is a pretty big team. Oh, Virtus and Tella are 18th.
Nah, it's disappointing.
That's my FIFA team. I would have thought they were doing better. They have a good striker. Empoli, Frosinone, no surprise there to all you that keep up. Yes, he did score against Ternana.
Oh,
However, I'm looking at it now. Ternana are bottom of the league. They only beat them 2-1.
it must have been a tough game. Ternana would have sat in
What, to counter the effect of Liam Henderson?
2 banks of 5.
Ternana currently have 22 points. Barry have 44.
Right, so they should have won it anyway.
Yes, so Spezia, on the other hand, well, I'm, getting all my stats. I'm not chucking my phone on my bed constantly. Are in 7th, just ahead of Venezia, actually. So this is a closer tie. Oh, sugar, it's a closer tie.
That would be good. They're 23-20, so they're
Slightly on.
just above evens.
I've gone for Barry,
Yeah.
because of Liam.
Go on, Barry.
Barry for Liam. Liam for Barry? Liam for Barry, there you go.
He's your first, your last, and your everything.
Okay. Second game was a big derby. And it winds me up because they call this Classical.
It's far from a classical.
PSG v Marseille. Well, they used to call it Classiche, in line with presumably the French terminology. In the French Cup, I don't know what round.
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals. PSG playing Marseille in a big derby. And PSG have struggled against the bigger French teams. Got beat by Lyon last time out. So Marseille playing quite well this year, really pushing Monaco. I think we've talked about this all the time on this feature because it's always Marseille I think I end up going for. So that could be interesting, but I'm of course siding with my beloved PSG.
At 1-5, so really short odds.
I think
They should win that.
I would like to know who puts these together and how much of an expert they are, because there must be someone out there that's not actually very good at their job. And if you could work out what league they set the odds for,
who they are.
not work out who they are, but if you work out what league they set the odds for, you could make a lot of money.
It's called Scottish football.
Well,
if you follow the Sofamanager Twitter feed, you would have noticed a couple of weeks ago there was odds for Falkirk against
Cove.
Was it Cove?
There was hideous ones for Cove.
I'm sure it might have been Cove, but they still had. Now let me get this right: Lee Miller, Nathan Austin, Miles Hippolyte, James Cragen,
To score.
and there was someone else, a 5th player. And they all had them as a Falkirk goal scorer in this
Right.
game. They had left 6 weeks ago.
They're not illegal. Like you're.
It must be illegal. Imagine if you stuck 20 quid on Miles Hippolyte first goal scorer and Falkirk to win, and he's not even at the club. Is that not misrepresentation?
I would have said so. You would have certainly been able to claim your money back, if not
Surely.
more. I don't know.
They probably got the goal scorer wrong anyway, but between Austin and Hippolyte.
Well, did they have the new players down then? Or?
I think they did.
Okay, that's alright, as long as they've got the new players one. So.
But why not?
Maybe you can bet on old Falkirk players to score on the same day. Maybe that's what that's intended as.
Lee Miller was the 5th one, I just remember.
Even though Livingston were out at that point. But oh well, we shall see how we get on this week.
Yep.
Pass on my pound to you, John, and not see any of it back come next week, as is the nature of Sofamanager and our betting. So I think that rounds us off on the podcast now, coming to an end.
You're off, yep.
So a very big thank you for listening from myself, Paul.
Cheers, guys. I just want to congratulate Boroughmuir on getting to the second round of the Women's Division 1 League Cup.
Congratulations. We'll maybe talk more about that.
Well done, Kirsty. Yay.
We'll talk more about that next week, hopefully. There's plenty of time. But if you have enjoyed, subscribe to us on our social media channels. We are at Sofamanager pretty much everywhere. And be sure to check out the website for a more in-depth look at our accumulator statistics. So thank you very much for listening. And what's my usual outro?
Goodbye.
Just not goodbye. Have a good evening, a good afternoon, and a good morning.